Good evening and welcome to Sunset News this Monday evening. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather and sports. I am Diana Master. In the news tonight, Grade 10 learner Muyova Emmanuel of Sarusungu Combined School in Rundu narrates how he and other learners were allegedly assaulted by police officers on Wednesday afternoon after a teacher's cell phone was reportedly stolen and later recovered from a toilet. Emmanuel alleges that 6 police officers arrived at the school, rounded up learners and took them to the school's football field where they were allegedly assaulted. Let's take a look.
Was there a proper search or these people just started beating you?
They just started beating me.
They did not search your bags, they did not search your bodies?
Nothing. They just came in the class, you, stand up, you, in the fucking in front, you, in the fucking in front. And then they start beating us in the chest with a hard slap. And then got the stone.
So they did not go through your bags?
No.
They did not search your bags? Okay. Thank you.
A group of Namibian citizens who were repatriated from South Africa have arrived back in the country, with some returnees arriving in Rundu. One returnee says she is relieved to be reunited with her family after years away. Kaveto Wayera, who had been living in Vredendal, South Africa since January of 2021, said she decided to return after facing challenges as an illegal foreigner. Let's take a look.
Okay, Gurova Zini, Dina Langana Makaveto Regina, Waira, Antundre Cofrenda, South Africa. Yeah, Algendra Sokar Kerasi Katkato Kirekuna Mapeu, for 8 o'clock Zongulo. Katokato Kiri, Katasi Kirepopo, da for 3 o'clock Murang. Katokato Kiri, Hipokatia Kiri for Popoda da South Africa. Katundirio po yokato wizireta watu siki po engine monor tuberi po 6 o'clock katu tulire po engine yokato kere po tala tu sefa ibinge tu amana makura yakatu arejire no pesa kadi kere mbali zimwe kazironde kere ukuyu kako wambo ezizimwe yokazironde kere ukuyu kanyi movendo kano kukalala ya no pesa mbali no nutraka mbali kutamna ipako itu. Yeah, yo to agende masiku nagenye twaya siki movenduka kwakuvatone 3 o'clock wena zokuranga ya siki movenduka ya katuka tengwire yene kwa kuoneka si wa South Africa vene kapwa haraba foreign na unene pengo wena bapili hepwa ya wena bapili hepwa kapwa bahara yo kawa nikira sikenye mforeign obapili hepwa atengure musorongo sawa ya makora yakatungirire kwafoko kepangero lyetu yoka tutubini nenye panga tunalo kapkalilimbire kalitulimbire katutumire besa tukatengura mara kaba fosere mtu epangero lyetu kapasiri nikire mtu kaningire ogwa kulizuva si atengure musorongo sawo popo simpe itayo inene yana kutamika ya yoka zireka katuchenge katengure developer ya siki.
Minister of Urban and Rural Development James Sankwasa says local authorities that fail to submit up-to-date audited financial statements will not receive government budget allocations. Speaking in Noshwarongo today, Sankwasa expressed concern that some local authorities have gone years without audited financial statements, while chief executive officers and acting CEOs have continued to have their contracts extended despite repeated adverse or disclaimer audit outcomes. He said no local authority would receive funding from the 1st of July unless it could prove its financial statements had been audited, adding that at least the 2024 and 2025 financial years should be up to date.
The report indicated that local authorities have not been audited from 2014 to 2025. Those that were audited were all disclaimers and adverse. Yet, those local authorities have got chief executive officers or acting chief executive officers, and their contracts of employment have been extended over and over. Extended to do what? If the job is not being performed, you extend this contract for what reason? Because the person has failed to perform. Simple as that. I said no local authority will get a budget from 1 July until it can prove that their auditing financial statements have been audited up to date. I know the Auditor General's Office works with a backlog, but at least the 2024-2025 financial must be audited. If any local authority have not provided the audited statement, there will be no budget. And I'm very clear on that one. And anything you spend without a budget is unauthorized expenditure. And unauthorized expenditure is a criminal offense. If we were on holiday all these years, unfortunately, under this minister, you're not going to be on holiday. Because the country is being destroyed deliberately. Where honorable councillors don't care what the administration is doing.
A Namibian social worker is urging parents to think carefully before posting photographs and personal information about their children on social media, warning that criminals can misuse the images to create fake identities, manipulate victims, and commit fraud. The warning from social worker Evelyn Amakali follows the recent case of Walvis Bay resident Theophilus Ngidinwa, who claims he spent years financially supporting a son he believed was his, only to allegedly discover the child never existed. Police have since arrested 26-year-old Veronica Timotheus, who is accused of abducting a random child and sending photographs of different children over several years to maintain the deception. Reacting to the case, Amakali said it highlights the dangers of documenting every stage of a child's life online. She warned that many parents unknowingly create digital albums by sharing birthdays, school achievements, and other milestones, giving criminals easy access to images that can be exploited. Amakali says she has encountered similar cases in her work, including one where a man financially supported twins he believed were his, only for investigators to discover the children in the photographs belonged to another family. She is now encouraging parents to limit the amount of personal information they share online, avoid posting children's daily routines or locations, and carefully consider who has access to family photographs. And that brings us to the end of our top stories. After the break, we bring you our Community Talk segment.
Namibia is a land of movement, with waves that never stop reaching forward. Here, adventure is not something we search for. It is something we are born into. In every corner of this country, creativity rises, from artists, from athletes, from dreamers. And when the world comes to explore Namibia, they discover something extraordinary. Because when sport moves people, creativity moves ideas, and tourism moves the world toward us. Something powerful happens. A platform where movement meets imagination, where industries connect, where opportunity grows, where Namibia's next chapter begins. Welcome to the Creative Sport Tourism Expo, Exhibit, partner, experience, creative sport tourism.
Tonight in our Community Talk segment, a Groot-Alp family is demanding answers after the grave of Willem Modise was allegedly vandalized, forcing his loved ones to bury him for a second time. Willem's mother, Gertrude Modise, broke down in tears as she described the heartbreaking ordeal. Willem, who was buried 3 years ago after his death was ruled a suicide, was allegedly found with his grave dug open. Family members say the top of the coffin had been damaged, leaving bones and his skull exposed. Speaking after the incident, Gertrude said the experience forced her to relive the day she lost her son. Following Willem's reburial on Friday, the family says they were left deeply disturbed after allegedly discovering fresh footprints at the gravesite, despite the area having been cleaned and raked after the funeral. The incident has left the family searching for answers and hoping those responsible are brought to justice.
Die seun moet dis van my gevat. Toe moes ek aan skool vir die aan skool die gebeendes wat moes ek sien. En later gesê, maak maar toe, dat ons maar die bene weer loop begraaf. So het ons dan afgegaan, begraafplaas toe en weer vir die tweede keer, weer tweede keer. Mens begrawe ons net een keer. Jy begrawe iemand net een keer. En dan is het mos die tweede keer wat jy gaan is, mos wanneer jy die grafsteen opsit van iemand, om die grafsteen, dan staan die grafsteen daar, dan gaan jy mos weer op die graf. Maar hierdie keer moet ek nou weer bene nog gegrawe. So, dis vir my 'n pynlike sak. En vir ons as 'n familie is dit werklik pyn. Die ouma het hele nag gehuil. En die man sit en huil nou nog vir sy kind se bene wat hy moet vir die tweede keer begrawe het. Al wat ek vra is, weet jy ook al is, en wat jy gedoen het, kom toch asseblief na vore, en kom sê vir ons, wat wil jy van ons hê? Ons het niks nie. Ons is nie 'n ryk familie nie. Ons kan jou nie geld ook aanbied nie. Al wat ons vir jou kan doen, ons kan vir jou bid. En ons kan jou vergewe as jy net reguit uitkom na ons toe. Om vir ons te kom sê, hoekom en waarom het jy die graf, het jy tot daaronder gegrond, en dat die skittel van my kind se kop kan gesien was. Hoekom het jy dit gedoen? Wat wil jy uit hom uitgehad het? En as jy miskien van iemand gestuur was, kom ook vorentoe uit met die persoon wat vir jou.
Still on our Community Talk segment, parents of learners at Sarusungu Combined School in Rundu have gathered outside the school in protest after learners were allegedly assaulted by police officers during a search for a teacher's cell phone last Wednesday. The protest has been joined by the National African Students Association, NASA. Acting President Rose Kamea said the organization is establishing the facts surrounding the incident, while parents are demanding accountability and compensation for affected learners. Kamea also alleged that some learners remain hospitalized after sustaining injuries during the incident, raising concerns over the alleged use of excessive force. Let's take a look.
community. My name is Rose Kamea. I'm the acting president of the National African Students Organization, and I am here with the spokespersons of the parents of the affected children. We received a formal report on Wednesday that called our attention to the situation that happened at the school, where allegedly 200 learners were beaten and few were hospitalized and others were injured over a stolen phone that was later on found by the teacher of the owner of the phone, or maybe the colleague. I'm really not sure. So we are here to establish facts. We tried to engage the principal of the school. She, however, did not respond to us, saying that if we needed more clarity, we should either approach the director's office. However, we wanted to really make her understand that since she is the head of the school, she has the first-hand information that we need, and we do not want any miscommunication or misinformation. So that's why we are here together with the parents to establish, and also just want to understand why as a school we are still on to corporal punishment when we have other ways of solving issues. And our understanding as of today is that an incident like this has happened at least 4 times, where learners were beaten by the police because apparently they stole something or they did something. So we are now here to establish proper facts, and also the parents are here to place in their demands how the kids are going to be compensated, especially those that are still hospitalized, because we understand that there are those that are still in the hospital. So now we heard also that there is a mock examination for the grade 11s that was supposed to happen.
And now let's get into our economic news. Namibia has taken another step towards expanding its agricultural exports after signing a new trade agreement that opens the Chinese market to locally produced fresh table grapes. The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Land Reform and China's General Administration of Customs signed the protocol on the 10th of July, setting out the phytosanitary requirements for the export of Namibian table grapes to China. According to the ministry's Deputy Director for Public Relations and Information Services, Romeo Muyunda, the agreement requires all grapes exported to China to be free from quarantine pests and soil contamination. It also outlines strict standards covering orchard management, pest control packaging, traceability, inspections, and the registration of orchards, packing houses, and cold treatment facilities. Under the agreement, Namibia will oversee the registration and monitoring of production sites, while Chinese customs authorities will verify compliance when shipments arrive in China. The protocol takes effect immediately and will remain valid for 3 years, with the option of automatic renewal. Government says the agreement strengthens agricultural trade between the two countries while creating new export opportunities for Namibia's grape industry. Hyphen Energy is courting Chinese investors as Namibia positions itself to become a global leader in green hydrogen and green ammonia production. Let's take a look at our financial indicators before we bring you our international news. The Namibian dollar trades at 21.92 against the British pound, 18.67 to the euro, 16.36 against the US dollar, and 2 Namibian dollars and 41 cents buys you 1 Chinese yuan. All commodities are up, save for gold, which took a dip of 1.90%, now trading at $4,006 and 90 cents per ounce. We'll now take a quick ad break and get into our international news when we come back. This week's decisions, today's debates, tomorrow's consequences. The agenda puts the spotlight on Namibia's most pressing issues and the people driving them. From headline makers to groundbreakers, we bring you the voices and perspectives at the center of the national conversation. One story, one interview, the depth you won't find anywhere else. That is The Agenda. Catch The Agenda on oneof2.com and on ntv.my.na. Tonight in international news, the European Union has imposed new sanctions on Russian military officers, hackers and private companies over what it describes as a long-running cyber espionage campaign targeting member states and international partners. In a statement, the European Council said those sanctions contributed to efforts to destabilize the European Union through cyber attacks carried out across at least 9 countries. Among those reportedly targeted are France, Germany, Poland, the Netherlands, Austria, Slovakia, Romania, Cyprus, and Finland. Germany has also summoned the Russian ambassador, describing the cyber attacks as unacceptable and warning that such actions will be met with a firm response. The latest sanctions come as Ukraine's Western allies meet in Paris to discuss additional air defense support for Kyiv. Ukraine has appealed for more military assistance as Russia continues to intensify drone and missile attacks, leaving the country struggling to intercept ballistic missiles and protect key cities. Global oil prices have climbed sharply following renewed military tensions between the United States and Iran around the strategically important Strait of Hormuz. Brent crude, the international oil benchmark, rose by more than 4% on Monday, reaching $78.82 a barrel, its highest level since 22 June. The increase comes after the United States and Iran exchanged attacks in the latest escalation over the vital shipping route. The U.S. Central Command says it carried out dozens of strikes targeting Iran's ability to attack vessels in the strait after accusing Iranian forces of attacking a Cyprus-flagged container ship transiting the waterway. And now let's take a look at the weather predictions before Ari Gohad joins us with the sports news. Winter can expect clear conditions, maximum temperatures of 22 degrees Celsius, minimum temperatures of 7 degrees Celsius. Over in Oshakati is also clear conditions expected, minimum temperatures of 13 degrees Celsius and 20 degrees Celsius expected to be the maximum temperature. Looking over at the coast in Walvis Bay, the maximum temperature is expected to be at 20 degrees Celsius, while it'll be coldest at 11 degrees Celsius. In Oranjemund, it is partly cloudy, maximum temperatures of 17 degrees Celsius are to be expected, and minimum temperatures of 10 degrees Celsius are to be expected. And now, let's get into the sports news with Ari Gohad.
Good day, everyone. Time for international sports news, and starting off with soccer news first. The 2026 Men's FIFA World Cup continuing in America. Semi-finals confirmed, and it is England that booked a place to play against Argentina in the one semi-final. That's after beating Norway by 2-1. And it's Argentina that's through to that semi-final, and that is after beating Switzerland by 3-1. Other semi-final will be played between France and Spain, and that is after France beat Morocco earlier by 2-0 in the quarterfinals, and Spain was too strong for Belgium. That score was 2-1. The two semi-finals will be played on Tuesday and on Wednesday. Moving on to tennis news, it is Wimbledon that was concluded over the weekend. The finals in the men's side first, it is Jannik Sinner that defended his title. He's the winner again, 2026 winner. He beat Alexander Zverev of Germany, and Sinner from Italy won that game by 6-7, 7-6, 6-3 and 6-4 to win the Wimbledon men's title. In the women's side of the draw, it was two players from Chechnya that played in the final. It was in the end Linda Noskova that beat the country woman, that is Karolin Mushkova, and the score there was 6-2, 5-7 and 6-3. The final for Linda Noskova, 21 years old, winning her first Wimbledon title. Closing off today's international sports news is rugby news, and it is from the Nations Championship that's being played between the Northern and the Southern Hemisphere. And there are only two teams unbeaten at the moment in the Southern Hemisphere teams, that is the Springboks and New Zealand. In the Northern Hemisphere, all the teams have lost a game somewhere, and it is the Springboks that beat Scotland over the weekend in Pretoria, 42-28, and they will next play against Wales this coming weekend, and it is New Zealand winning their second consecutive game, beating Italy by 47-17, and it is a tough game for New Zealand. This coming weekend they play against Ireland. Other results from the weekend is Ireland that beat Japan by 36 points to 20. England too strong for Fiji by 73 points to 8. Then it is Argentina beating Wales 35 points to 21. And then a good result for France. They beat Australia. That was a away game for France. They beat them by 42 points to 26. So that's Rugby Championship, Nations Championship results from the weekend. That's sports news for today. Have a great sport day. We'll talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.
And with that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. I am Diana Master, and this has been Censored News. Don't end your day without us.